This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
नमस्कार एंड वेलकम टू भारत एफएम. बजेगा भारत तो झूमेगा भारत. आज आपको समझ आ रहा होगा कि आज मैं थोड़ा अलग बात कर रही हूँ. व्हाट इज द रीजन फॉर दैट? आज का जो सेगमेंट है ना, एपिसोड है हमारा, दैट इज वेरी स्पेशल एपिसोड. ये नॉर्मल एपिसोड नहीं है. मैं एक कंपनी का नाम लूंगी. जैसे ही मैंने नाम लिया ना, आप समझ जाएंगे मेरा उस कुछ रिलेशन है. एक्चुअली मेरा ऐसा कुछ रिलेशन नहीं है, लेकिन जी हाँ, आज हमारे साथ वी हैव समवन वेरी स्पेशल. We have with us Mr. Jay Ukani, who is the owner and director of Ban Labs Private Limited, a company that has been a pillar into the pharma industry for the last 6 decades. जी हाँ, 7 साल से Ban Labs Private Limited ने संसार में, पूरी दुनिया में धूम मचा रखी है when it comes to pharma industry. So Jay ji, welcome to Bharat FM. It is a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me as well.
Thank you so much. And just to give a brief, भारत एफएम के बेसिकली हमारे जो लिसनर्स है ना, इट्स टेक्निकली एन एनआरआई डायस्पोरा जो कि यूएस एंड वर्ल्ड के अक्रॉस सिटीज में रहता है. एंड जब हम बात करते हैं एनआरआईज की, तो भारत जैसे ही वो सुनते हैं ना, एक इमोशनल कनेक्ट वैसे ही आ जाता है. आंखों में आंसू आए ना आए, लेकिन एक इमोशन जरूर जाग उठता है. So thank you so much for that. So Jay, let's let's start this amazing interview, and thank you so much for your time. So I'll start by asking, can you share, a detailed insight of your journey into pharma industry and also the story behind the formation of Ban Labs?
Okay. So Ban Labs was founded with a vision to integrate traditional Ayurvedic wisdom with modern science, right? So over the past 6 decades, we have evolved from a small FMCG company or from a small family business to a big corporate conglomerate, right? So it has been a diverse journey till now. And now the family business is comprising of several different verticals. Going from nutraceuticals to health and hygiene to personal care to some industrial equipments, etc., etc. And now the company's footprints are expanded to over 45 different countries.
And when you
Yes.
talk about 45 different countries, and I can simply say, because I was going to ask you the milestones that have actually defined Ban Lab's success. So I would say presence in 45 countries is certainly a very big milestone. So how did this happen? The approach, the leadership, like what was exactly the story behind this? If you can just give us a brief. And I'm sure the struggles.
Yeah. So actually, Ban Labs was started with a vision of helping people, of doing something good for the people, right? So there's a big saying in Ban Labs and the philosophy of Sarvajan Hitaya, Sarvajan Sukhaya. That means that, सबके लिए अच्छा करो, सबका सुख देखो, सबका शांति देखो. तो बस इसी से Ban Labs का शुरुआत हुआ था, and this led to a big founding stone for Ban Labs. And till date, there had been many struggles. There had been many struggles for doing good for the people, right? आज Ban Labs का इतने सारे कंट्रीज में एक फुटप्रिंट है, सो वहां पे भी हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ अच्छे के लिए करते हैं.
जैसे कि आपने कहा कि सबके लिए अच्छा करना इज प्रॉब्ली, आई कैन से दिस इज एक्चुअली द फिलॉसफी ऑफ आवर भारत आल्सो, कि वी हैव टू वर्क फॉर द वर्ल्ड, नॉट जस्ट फॉर द सेल्फिश नेचर ऑफ आवर्स. So moving to you, you joined Ban Labs at a pretty pivotal role. So not just being a family business, what really inspired you to join? I mean, not just it's a family business, but what are certain other things that inspired you to join Ban Labs?
Right. So as I told you before, Ban Labs was started with the vision of Sarvajan Hitaya, Sarvajan Sukhaya. And that was my belief before I joined Ban Labs as well. So my belief aligned with Ban Labs' belief that, we have to come out with certain practices, certain products, which can go to each and every household of the world. and ultimately can help the poor, ultimately can help the society in doing something good for them. So that's how the beliefs aligned. And then, I had various other dreams which became very aligned with Banlabs' vision.
Beautiful to say. Maybe, in your growing up years also, you must have seen this family tradition. But in spite of that, also, as you mentioned, you had dreams, other dreams, but somehow, beautifully, those dreams actually got aligned and intertwined with Banla's philosophy. That is so beautiful thing. So we know very well, we have done a little bit of research that you come from a very diverse education background. Pharma, probably it was in the blood, it was in the genes. But then after transition किया international business में. Now, इसके पीछे was it like very सोची समझी strategy if I may put up, or was it like because you thought that this is probably the next step कि अगर Ban Labs को world stage पे ले जाना है, so I have to understand international business.
Of course, rightly said, because now जैसा आपने बोला वो ठीक बोला. I studied pharmacy to understand what Banlabs was some decades back, right? Banlabs was just a mere pharmaceutical company. So I wanted to get an insight into what pharmacy is, uska technicals kya hote hain, and I wanted to have a strong background in that field. And now talking about international business, I wanted to take this family business to a world level, to understand what the people of the world are suffering from, what are their problems, उसको वहां पे कैसे पहुंचाया जाए, उनके रूट्स तक कैसे पहुंचे जाए. So that is why I took this business, I took this field of international business.
So I would say definitely it was aligned with your not just personal choice but professional choice also. Because जब आपने ठान ही लिया था that I have to take Ban Labs leaps and bound, India की कोई boundary नहीं रहनी चाहिए, geography के across लेके जाना है, तो पढ़ाई करना है तो अच्छी बात है. In that case, to understand the international business. Well, you join a family business, Jayji, which certainly comes with a lot of challenges and expectations, especially अगर family business की बात करें. So did you have to prove yourself in that challenging role कि it is just not कि I have been given this opportunity, but it's technically that I deserve it also.
See, actually, you can say कि भाई यहाँ पे इतना बड़ा legacy है, 57-58 years का legacy है. It's not easy, of course not. There has been a lot of pressures. कैसे pressure कि भाई जब मैंने join किया था, there were 3,000 families to be looked after, right? And now I wanted to take this forward कि मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि भाई पूरे वर्ल्ड को एक बान का फैमिली क्यों ना बना सके, पूरे वर्ल्ड को ये जो अच्छा मुहिम लेके हम लोग चल रहे हैं उसका पार्ट कैसे ना बना सके. सो देयर वर मेनी प्रेशर्स, बट एक पॉजिटिव प्रेशर था कि भाई ये पूरे एक जो फिलोसॉफी, एक आइडिया को लेके चल रहे हैं, तो पूरे वर्ल्ड को अपना एक फैमिली बनाते चले. और किसी ने खूब बोला है कि भाई अपने अगर मेरे फूलों का बिस्तर देखा था तो उसके नीचे कितने कांटे थे वो आपने शायद गिने नहीं होंगे. So born with a silver spoon, of course, but those silver spoon had many what to say, वहां पे बहुत सारे ऐसे कांटे थे, right? तो ये किसी ने नोटिस नहीं किया, but yes, those कांटे were for the good.
Beautifully said. In fact, जब आप you mentioned कि there were 3,000 families at the time when you joined Ban Labs who were dependent on Ban Labs basically. I mean, normal मनुष्य के लिए एक household में अगर 3-4 लोग भी होते हैं, उनके लिए work pressure झेलना, sometimes it becomes stressful. But you had to cater to 3,000 families, and I'm sure a lot of family members. So it must have certainly come with a lot of pressure. So how did you deal with that?
See, actually, this pressure is a good pressure, and I believe that ये झेलना नहीं है, इसको तो ये मजा है. This pressure is a good pressure, and I actually love this pressure. It's a fun for me, it's a challenge for me, and मैं वो challenge में से कुछ भी हिसाब से पूरे world को अपना family बना के रहूंगा.
वाह, वसुदेव कुटुंबकम as हम कहते हैं
True.
कि this world is my family and I will do anything for it. Well, that's a wonderful philosophy, and I'm sure जो लोग आपको अभी सुन रहे हैं and people who are not so maybe do not have much knowledge कि आपके thoughts के बारे में and all those things, and I'm sure it must be a very eye opener कि irrespective आप कितनी भी बड़ी कंपनी चला लें, but if you're connected to the roots and if you know the mantra, which is so beautiful, that how you beautifully connected, and वो आपकी philosophy, आपकी life, आपके profession सबसे इतनी beautifully जुड़ जाता है. Well, moving on, जय जी, हम जानते हैं कि investment world में भी आप you are literally I would say कि not धीरे धीरे काफी हद तक आपने एक अच्छा सा अपना यू कैन से नाम बना लिया है, जाल बना रहे हैं बिल्कुल आप, if I may say that. So coming to that, like what are your investment philosophy and how did you get into it at the first place? I mean young generation का definitely investment में बहुत interest है, but आपको particular interest कैसे आया in this investment circle?
See, actually what I believe is बहुत सारी कंपनियां, बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस CSR तो करती ही है, राइट? दे हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड, वो करना पड़ता है उनको, बट एट बांड लैब्स वी डू CSR क्योंकि वो करना चाहिए एक सोसाइटी के लिए. एंड आई बिलीव इन्वेस्टमेंट इनटू स्टार्टअप्स इज अ पार्ट ऑफ CSR. वो आज अगर बर्डिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को हम लोग सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे तो भारत कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा, वर्ल्ड कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा, उनके हित में कैसे क्या काम किया जाएगा, वो स्टार्टअप्स आगे लेके आ सकती है ये चीज को. सो आई बिलीव दैट इन्वेस्टमेंट इनटू स्टार्टअप्स इज अ पार्ट ऑफ बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी.
That's beautifully said and beautifully curated कि CSR तो सारी कंपनीज करती हैं. जी हाँ, बिल्कुल. बट उसको इस तरह से देखना, दैट इज अ वेरी डिफरेंट यू कैन से ईगल्स आई कैन से. वेल, तो आप बताइए आपकी स्टार्टअप इन्वेस्टमेंट करने की फिलॉसफी क्या, लाइक व्हाट आर दोस प्रिंसिपल्स और गाइडलाइंस दैट यू फॉलो कि बस दिल की सुन लेते हैं एंड मुझे पसंद आ गया और मैंने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया है.
राइट. So the only philosophy is that there should be something innovation and there should be something good for the society. वो सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब स्टार्टअप करना है बस. So there should be something good for the society and there should be some innovation in it. So these are the only two parts that I look into a startup.
All right. तो जब आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं जय जी, so like do you do it in a personal capacity या फिर you actually try to represent Ban Labs also in that, because I'm sure उस नाम से थोड़े ज्यादा लोग would like to associate themselves. How does it work for you?
Right. So talking about me or Ban Labs is one and the same thing, right? If I represent Ban Labs somewhere, I'm representing Jay, and if I'm representing Jay, it's part of Ban Labs. So it goes line to line, right?
That's beautiful. यानी कि कहते हैं ना कि your soul and your body, they're connected. You cannot part with your soul. So probably Ban Labs is actually your soul, I would say. So well, Jayji, it is not a hidden fact anymore. I think the cat is out of the bag, if I may say so, कि आप एक बहुत जल्द एक reality funding show The Lion's Den में as an esteemed investor, as a panelist, as a lion, I can say आने वाले हैं. So, what prompted you to join The Lion's Den? I mean, आजकल तो काफी सारे reality funding shows आ रहे थे, but why The Lion's Den?
See, why The Lion's Den is a very simple and short answer. उनके जो founders है, right, Hiren bhai and Sawan bhai, they are very energetic, very passionate about bringing this startup industry of Bharat forward, right? वो उनका जो future है startup industry का, वो आगे कैसे लाया जाए और उनको कैसे support हो. Small stage startup जो होते हैं, early stage startups, उनको कैसे नर्चर किया जाए, उनको कैसे फाइंड आउट किया जाए, वो उनकी जो स्ट्रेटेजी है, that is what is aligned with my strategy of investment into startups as well. So that pulled me to Lions Den and to become a lion.
So technically, if I may, so that means their vision actually resonated जो आपका भारत के स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम के लिए विजन है.
True.
So if it is said कि 2030 तक तो India and भारत का startup ecosystem is literally going to go skyrocket. What are your thoughts on it? And how would you look at that?
See, I firmly believe with what is today's nation's belief as well, and what is today's nation's future as well, that startup ecosystem is going to boost in a really big way, and which is going to help the world at a later stage as well. So मुझे इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है, वो आगे बढ़ने ही वाला है, और वो ऐसे इकोसिस्टम होगा कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में उसका बोलते हैं ना कि डंका बजेगा.
पूरे वर्ल्ड में भारत का डंका बजेगा. एंड आई थिंक हम किसी भी तरह स्मॉल वे से अगर उसमें कंट्रीब्यूट कर सके, इट इज अ अमेजिंग एंड अ मिराकुलस थिंग. सो टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टार्टअप, शो में काफी सारे स्टार्टअप्स आने वाले हैं. So, is there any particular industry or a genre of work that you're looking forward कि हाँ ये आएगा ऐसी इंडस्ट्री से तो कुछ हो ना हो मैं थोड़ा सा भी इन्वेस्टमेंट करूं, but I will certainly do an investment from my side in this particular industry. Is there any particular genre or industry or sector that you're looking forward to see on the Lions Den?
Right. So there is no particular industry as such, but what I firmly believe is कि भाई ऐसी इंडस्ट्री ऐसे होना चाहिए कि भाई जहाँ पे भी अभी भारत का फोकस हो, जहाँ पे भारत को पहुंचना है, वैसे इंडस्ट्रीज में अगर वो स्टार्टअप्स आए तो that will in short help in the vision of taking Bharat forward, taking the world forward.
ब्यूटिफुली. आई मीन जो भी भारत को हेल्प करे या लोगों को हेल्प करेगा, कुछ ऐसे स्टार्टअप आए इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री एंड द सेक्टर दे बिलोंग टू, दे आर सर्टेनली would be something जो आप you are looking forward to if you talk about the show. And one more thing, काफी सारे young entrepreneurs आने वाले हैं, and the Lions Den का actually focus is probably catering to the startups from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Which would be probably very raw. शायद उन्होंने they don't even know how to pitch also properly. Maybe that's the kind of startup that they are scouting for and they would be presenting. So any kind of advice that you would like to give to these young minds, young entrepreneurs of the country?
The only advice what I would like to tell to them is that they should be sticking to their vision. They should be sticking to their part of doing good for the society. They should be sticking to having an open mindset. With open mindset, I am trying to say that they should be open to feedbacks and they should be open to change. And that is what I would like to advise and nothing else.
Stick to your principles, stick to your philosophy, and open to change. I think इससे ज़्यादा कोई कुछ सोच भी नहीं सकता, मांग भी नहीं सकता, from an esteemed panelist like you. So another thing, talking about the show, The Lions Den, and we discussed about India's budding and burning startup culture. How do you think that this show will contribute in no matter what way, small way, big way, to this beautiful ecosystem which is literally flaming up in the country right now, the startup ecosystem?
So actually, as you told, like the Lions Den would be taking tier 2, tier 3 cities, or to say the urban part or the rural part, rural part of the India forward. So वो कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया के ग्रोथ में मदद होने ही वाला है, and I am sure about it.
Wonderful. I mean, irrespective, it is said कि अगर आप baby steps भी लें, steps लेना जरूरी होते हैं, ना कि बस बैठे रहना, maybe in that case. So I really wish you all the best, Jayji. And before we let you go, you're a very busy man. I mean, we all know it. इतनी बड़ी कंपनी चलाना, इतने लोगों को देखना, to care for them, to cater to their needs in maybe direct or indirect ways, not a small thing. I am sure stress कभी ना कभी आ ही जाता होगा life में. So what do you do? Like, do you have some hobbies or maybe stress bursting activities? Because stress is something which is a very prominent part of everybody's life today. चाहे आप एक वर्क प्लेस पे नॉर्मल एक जॉब कर रहे हो, चाहे आप यू आर एन एम्प्लॉयर प्रोवाइडिंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल, स्ट्रेस का कोई फॉर्म नहीं होता है, बस ये किसी को कम तो किसी को ज्यादा होता है. सो हाउ डू यू कोप अप विद दैट इन योर डेली लाइफ इफ यू हैव इट?
Right. See, first of all, there is no stress as such. पर अगर फिर भी कुछ मन हुआ कि कहीं पे स्माइल देखना है किसी का, तो आप चले जाइए कहीं पे कोई गरीब बस्ती में या फिर कहीं पे ऑर्फनेज में, उनको कुछ पिज्जा विज्जा खिला दीजिए और उनके मुख पे जो स्माइल आएगी, उनके आपका सब तनाव दूर हो जाएगा. तो दिस इज अ स्ट्रेस बस्टर विच आई वुड रिकमेंड टू ऑल द पीपल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. ये वहां पे आप करिए और उनकी स्माइल देख के आपका कोई भी स्ट्रेस हो दुनिया का, वो चला जाएगा.
Wow, that is beautifully said, and I'm sure आप अपनी real life में भी ये follow जरूर करते होंगे, and that's why maybe it has come so promptly to you. So thank you so much, Jayji. And any message that you would like to give to our lovely listeners of Bharat FM who are listening to you, world across?
The only thing that I would like to say is that you should do good. You should do good for the society. एक अंदर से सेल्फिशनेस किस तरह से आना चाहिए कि भाई अगर आप अच्छा करेंगे किसी का तो आपका भी अच्छा होगा, तो अपने अच्छे के लिए किसी का अच्छा करिए. तो ये भी एक सेल्फिशनेस की बात है, पर वो अच्छाई की सेल्फिशनेस है.
Wow, so beautifully said. And with these beautiful words and thoughts of yours, I will put a wrap up to this very beautiful segment. आप सुनते रहिए भारत FM, क्योंकि बजेगा भारत तो झूमेगा भारत. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.